Thank you for being with us. Our top story tonight, Pope Francis is resting and recovering in Rome following a weekend diagnosis of breathing difficulty and inflammation of the lungs. The 86-year-old is in good and stable condition. The Vatican says a CT scan has ruled out pneumonia. This morning, the Holy Father met with the President of Paraguay. Pope Francis also continues to prepare for the apostolic journey to Dubai later this week. EWTN Vatican News Correspondent Colm Flynn has more.
A very good evening, Tracy. Well, good news from the Vatican this morning as they released an update on the Pope's health. Over the weekend, many were worried when it was announced that Pope Francis was suffering from what was described as a mild flu. The Vatican has now said that Pope Francis's condition is good and improving. He had received a CT scan at hospital which ruled out pneumonia, but the results did show lung inflammation, which had been causing him some breathing difficulties. The Vatican has said now that the Pope is receiving antibiotics, and they also announced that some of his appointments for the next few days have been postponed. Now, this all started yesterday when Pope Francis did not appear at the window of the Papal Palace overlooking St. Peter's Square for his normal Sunday Angelus, and instead he spoke to those gathered in the square via a video link from the chapel of the Casa Santa Marta, the Vatican residence where he lives. He had a bandage on his right hand and he explained that he couldn't come out because of the inflammation of his lungs. The Pope is turning 87 in a few weeks, and remember, he lost part of one of his lungs to disease when he was a young man living in Argentina. He managed to deliver his Sunday Angelus seated, and not only was he on his own this time, he was joined by Monsignor Paolo Bradi, head of the Coordination Office for the Pontifical Speeches at the Secretariat of State of the Holy See. This is the man who usually writes and prepares the Pope's reflections. In the address, the Pope appealed for peace in Ukraine. He gave thanks for the release of those hostages in Gaza. Remember, he met some of the family members of Israeli hostages here at the Vatican last week. And he also confirmed that he would be travelling to Dubai later this week for COP28. Pope Francis ended with his traditional closing remarks. I wish everyone a good Sunday. Please do not forget to pray for me. Have a good lunch and see you next time, he said. Now, Pope Francis is due to fly to the United Arab Emirates and to Dubai this Friday. So we'll have to wait and see, Tracy, if this recent illness affects those plans. But what we can tell you is that he is keeping some of his appointments at least. For example, this morning he met with the President of Paraguay at the Casa Santa Marta, not the Papal Palace, which would be the usual meeting place for a world leader. It was a 25-minute long meeting where they spoke about peace, environmental protection and the fight against poverty. So everyone here in Rome is keeping an eye on the Pope's health, and we'll give you more news as we get it. In Rome, Colm Flynn, EWTN News Nightly.